Hi, I'm Erica Duffy from Retirement Benefits Institute, and today I would like to talk to you about part-time federal retirement using a case study on Jane Ann. So let's get started. Let's meet Jane. Jane is a federal employee, and she began her career at part-time in 1990 at 25 hours a week. Your normal working hours for a full-time employee is 2,087 in a year. After working 2 years, Jane decided to return to college to further her education, which is fantastic. And in 1996, Jane Ann returned to the federal service as a full-time employee. Let's see how to calculate her annuity. Here's what we know. Because Jane Ann began her career as a part-time federal employee, she will receive retirement eligibility for that part-time work. However, her annuity for that time will be prorated. And to determine that, the annuity needs to be based on both her part-time employment and also her full-time employment. This can be a little bit confusing, so let's just walk through an example together of how Jane Ann's annuity would be calculated. So let's break it down. The part-time calculation, it does look a little intimidating, but between going through this example and taking our time, if you happen to have part-time service, you should be able to then understand how this is going to be calculated and maybe even be able to do some calculations of your own. Now remember, Federal Retirement Benefits Institute, we do calculations. So if you do find that you need a little bit of help and you are looking to understand how your part-time work works into your, final annuity, that's fine, and we're happy to help you with that. So the prorated formula is based on the hours actually worked divided by your total full-time hours. So again, if you were working part-time, then you weren't working the full-time 2,087. So let's look at how that's broken down. Had Jane Ann worked full-time in her career, the hours she would have worked would have been 23 years of full-time work, at each year being 2,087 hours. So you can see here we're multiplying 23 years times 2,087 hours for a potential worked 48,001 hours. Her hours including part-time is broken down differently. So the time that Jane Ann was full-time was for 21 years, and those 21 years at 2,087 multiplied comes out to be 43,827 hours. Her part-time for those 2 years will be multiplied by 1,300, giving her 2,600 hours of time worked while she was part-time. Therefore, the total number of hours that Jane Ann worked in her federal career is a combination of her full-time and her part-time hours. So her full-time hours added with her part-time hours comes out to 46,427 hours. Now, that was a lot of math, but we're not done yet. What we need to understand is when a federal calculation of annuity is being done for the federal employee, we need to understand the percentage of time worked. So Jane Ann didn't work 100% full time. She actually worked 97% full time. That's going to be included in how the annuity is calculated. And let's look at that as well. So anytime we're looking at how an annuity is calculated, we do always need to know what the high three would be. So what is your high three? High three is your highest 36, let's look at this, consecutive months of pay. So your high 3 has to be all together in 36 months. The government will not pick and choose your highest here and your highest there. It has to be consecutive. Now, that may be in the middle of your career, believe it or not, or it could be at the end of your career. Traditionally, it seems to be that case because you start in maybe a lower position with a lower grade and step, and then as you move through your career, you end up in higher grade and step. So generally speaking, most of the high 3 for most federal employees is going to be the last 36 consecutive months prior to retirement. So what's included in the high 3? That would be your regular pay and locality pay. And sometimes that locality pay really does make a difference in the high 3, depending on where you lived and how high the locality may have been. So now that we know what high 3 is, let's go forward and let's look at how this works into our calculation for Jane Ann. So traditionally, a pension is calculated by taking your high 3 times 1% times your years of service, and that would be your pension. Jane Ann's pension will be multiplied by her 97% of time worked to have a prorated pension. Be like Jane, be like her. Know your service computation date, and that across the board is one of the most important things as a federal employee for you to know. You definitely want to be an advocate for yourself and know that within your leave service computation date, which you can find on your pay stub, that is not necessarily the time that you worked in the government that you would be eligible to receive a pension for. The government is going to use your retirement service computation date, and if you feel there is any discrepancy between that date and your service computation date for leave, I encourage you to look into that. Keep track of your service history and calculate your annuity before deciding to retire. Again, we are, at RBI, Retirement Benefits Institute, we have analysts in the office who can help you break down your annuity calculation, help you look at your whole picture as far as what you can expect from your pension and all your other benefits when you retire. And that is key to retirement planning. In addition to many of our resources, we have a YouTube channel with well over 100 videos at this point and new ones being added weekly. And these videos will address things like your part-time and your other benefits between your group life insurance and your thrift savings plan. And it's a great way to do a little bit of self-study. And the beauty of a video is that you can always go back. Maybe you didn't hear something and you just need to clarify that one key piece of information. So I do encourage you to please visit our YouTube channel. If you select subscribe, you will be notified every time a new video is added to the YouTube collection. Thank you so much for taking time to meet with me and to learn about Jane Ann and how to calculate part-time history.